everyone, and welcome to our channel. Today I suggest we crochet this cute little bull. It has a scarf that can be removed. This will be an express masterclass. I won't show in detail and by stitches. I will just give you a general overview of how to make it and mention all the nuances. I will also provide detailed descriptions so you understand everything and can crochet this lovely bull. So, it is crocheted from the bottom up. This is a completely crocheted toy. You could say that because it is made starting from the legs and ending at the top. That means no head needs to be sewn on here. The arms do not need to be sewn separately. They are incorporated. The ears are also incorporated. The legs are made at once. The tail. The only sewn details here are these spots, the snout, this white part, and the horns. Therefore, it is quite simple to crochet. I think you will understand everything. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. I will try to respond. Also, all the lessons you will need to crochet this bull will be linked below the video or will pop up as hints above. Well, shall we get started? I will first show you all the necessary materials and tools we will need for crocheting the bull. I will also show all the symbols to make it easy for you to read the descriptions I will provide. My bull turned out to be 23 centimeters tall. Yours may be a bit larger or smaller. It all depends on the yarn you will use. Almost all parts are crocheted in a spiral, without joining stitches and chain stitches unless I specify otherwise. And to make the toy neater, we will use invisible decreases. For this, you will need to grab the front loop of one stitch and the front loop of the second stitch with your hook. Then, crochet a single crochet stitch through these half loops. You can visually see this in my lesson. Let's get started with the knitting. We will begin by knitting the simplest piece, it is the tail. Thus, we will knit the tail separately, and then as we knit the body, we will simply incorporate it. How did I knit the tail? With the main beige color, I chained 15 air stitches plus 1 stitch for turning. That is, we are chaining the required length of the tail. It is about 5 centimeters. And in the second row, we just work single crochet stitches into each air stitch, that's all. We hide the threads from both sides in the tail itself, and we will need to make a tassel. We cut several small pieces of dark brown yarn like this, fold them in half, and secure them to the end of the tail. Using a hook like this to create a tail with a tassel. That's it, our tail is ready, meaning our piece is ready. Let's move on to knitting the ears next. We will also knit the ears in beige and will not stuff them, they are empty. Thus, 2 pieces need to be knitted. Now, I will simply insert the text where I have written the scheme for knitting these ears. Knit from the magic ring, from this point. First increasing stitches, then several rows straight and decreasing stitches. After that, we simply leave the ear open. We will incorporate it into the head. Well, I also like to incorporate everything. Therefore, we will not sew it here. So we just leave a small end of the yarn. This happens after we knit the ear. And you can even hide this yarn. To simply have a separate piece, we will be incorporating it. Now, I will insert the ear scheme. After the ears, we will knit the horns. We also need to connect 2 small parts. So I will now insert the description for crocheting one horn. And at the end of the crocheting we leave a long thread this time. This is needed to later sew the horns onto the head. They are not crocheted in but sewn on. And I did not stuff the horns with filling. They are empty inside. This is optional. So, I am inserting the diagram for the horns. After we have crocheted the ears, the horns and the tail, we need to crochet this muzzle. So we take a different color. What color will our muzzle be? In my case, it is cream. And we start crocheting an oval. That is, we need to chain the required number of stitches. And we will crochet around it like this in an oval, in a spiral. I will also insert the complete description now. I just want to mention that while crocheting this oval, I used puff stitches without a yarn over in several rows. These are elongated stitches. I've explained how to make them in more detail in my lesson. Here is the link above, or as I mentioned, all lessons are also available under the video. Come and watch, and everything will be clear to you. So, I am inserting the description of the muzzle itself. There are 8 rows. After we have crocheted our muzzle, we leave a long thread end so we can later sew the muzzle onto the head. And we stuff our muzzle a little with filling, not too much. Now, after we have crocheted the muzzle, we will crochet these 3 small parts. There are no spots on the back, although you can choose to crochet if you like that on the back if you want. That is, I crocheted 3, but you can crochet more and sew them on elsewhere. So, all 3 spots are different. Therefore, I am providing diagrams for each of them. They are crocheted in turning rows with dark brown yarn. And after we crochet the spots, we will need to leave a long thread end to sew them onto the body later. So, the little spots are ready. Then, we will sew them on after we finish crocheting our toy. After that, we also need to crochet this little part. Here it is like this. We will be crocheting it in rows with turns. We will start from here. That means we need to chain 4 air stitches. Then we begin to crochet from the second stitch from the hook, using single crochets. At the end of each row, we will make 1 air stitch for the rise, to move to the next row. In other words, we crochet in rows with rise stitches. And now I will also insert a diagram for you, so you can see how to crochet this part. After we finish crocheting our head part, we also leave a long end of the thread, so that we can sew the part to the head again. Now we need to crochet the arms. These are also 2 separate parts. And we cut the yarn at the end of the crochet. We do not leave it long. We simply cut it and hide, because we will incorporate the arms into the body. So how to crochet the arms? Also, from this edge of the circular amigurumi, we will crochet 6 single crochets. Then we continue crocheting in a spiral. First, we will crochet with dark brown yarn in my case. We crochet 6 rows with dark brown yarn, then we switch to beige yarn. And for the next 16 rows, we continue crocheting with the beige yarn. We fill the arm a little, but just a tiny bit. Here is my filler, and above it is empty. This way, they look prettier than if the whole arm is tightly stuffed. That's all. Now I will also insert a diagram for the arm description, and we will crochet 2 of these arms. That's it. We have crocheted 2 arms. After we have crocheted all our parts, we will start crocheting the toy from the bottom up. Starting with the legs, then we will move to the body, incorporate the arms, and then immediately proceed to the head. That is, we will make increases here. Here, we do not sew on the head itself, we knit everything directly. And then we incorporate the ears. And we knit this tuft. So, we start with the legs. We need to first knit 2 pieces, 2 legs, and then connect them. So we knit one leg. We cut the yarn, leaving a short length, and we also knit the second leg. But we do not cut the yarn. Instead, we will immediately make chains from the second leg and connect it to the first leg. And of course we fill our pieces, our legs, with hello fiber or synthetic fiber during the knitting process. So we start knitting from this point, the leg with dark brown yarn. As usual, we knit 6 single crochet stitches in a magic ring. Next, we knit the pieces in a spiral. After that, we need to change the yarn to beige. Now watch how to knit the leg. So, we have knitted 2 legs. After that, we need to connect them together. That is, after the first leg we cut the yarn, and we have knitted the second leg. The yarn is not cut from the skein. We continue to knit with the same yarn. We chain 5 stitches. This is where we connect the 2 legs, 5 chain stitches. And then, we continue to knit further with the same yarn. That is, we immediately start knitting on the second leg after these 5 chain stitches. And we start to work around the second leg. We work around, and then we have worked around the second leg. Here we have 5 chain stitches. The sun is going down and coming out here. So, we worked around the leg. We work around 5 chain stitches through the half stitches from this side. And we crochet around this leg. And on this side, we have 5 chain stitches, right in the middle here. On this side we also make 5 single crochets, already through the other half loops of the chain. So by surrounding everything we have 2 legs. And on both sides, these are our 5 stitches, right, our chain. We will have 50 single crochets in the first row. I call this the first row. This is where we start to crochet the body, the first row of the body. So, we have the leg with 20 single crochets. 1, 2, so that makes 40 single crochets for the legs, and 5 single crochets on this side, and 5 single crochets on this side. 40 plus 10 equals 50 single crochets in the first row of the body. That is, we crocheted around with regular single crochets and joined the 2 legs together. After we connected the legs, we crochet, making increases and at. So, in the 9th row, we will crochet in our tail. First, we insert the hook into the tail itself, the end of the tail, and then immediately insert the hook into the body. And through these 2 stitches, we make a single crochet. I believe you know how to incorporate details. Therefore, I hope everything goes well for you. After this, we crochet the body simply in a spiral, in a circle. And further, making decreases, we reach the row, where we will also attach the arms, just like we attached the tail. And while continuing to crochet the body, we will, of course, fill it with hollow fiber and synthetic padding. With synthetic fluff, whatever you fill it with, right. In general, as we crochet, we fill our piece. So, having crocheted to this point, we start to attach the arms. We have 14 single crochets in the last row of the arm. Fold it in half, and we get 7 columns without stitches right here. And in this row, we need to divide where we will be attaching the arms. Correct? Highlight it right in the center. It results in 9 stitches for the front, 9 stitches for the back, and 7 stitches for the arms. In total, we have 32 stitches in this row. As for how to attach the arms, I think you already know that too. Fold them in half, and insert the hook first into both sides of the arms, then into the body. And we make a stitch without yarn over through all these stitches. So we covered the body. Now, I will probably write for you, also include a diagram, a description of how to knit the body itself, for your clarity. So, Having knitted the body and attached the arms, we proceed to knit the head. That is, we start simply knitting further. First, we have such a small neck. Yes, a couple of rows here, and then we immediately start making increases and knitting the head. All in the same beige color, and all the while, we stuff it with filler as we knit. Now, I will insert a diagram for you of the neck. After knitting the neck, we begin to knit the head, immediately making increases. Yes, so that we do not have to sew the head separately, we knit it right away. And after the neck, I start counting again. That is, this will be my first row here. After the neck, the first row of the head is on the diagram, in my description, so you understand. While knitting the head and making increases, I inserted the eyes. They are on a safety lock, between the 15th and 16th rows of the head. So, my counting starts from here. We also arrange the body so that the eyes are centered. Since we have the socks of this arm all knitted, after this, without fully knitting the head or maybe knitting a little higher, I sewed on the snout. The snout should be right under the eyes. To make it easier to sew on, you can pin it to the body with pins beforehand. And we make the tightening on the top. I took the same thread that I used to knit the snout. In general, from the inside out and then back in. Well, not to the same point, but to a stitch to the side. Then, back from the inside, here again. We moved the stitch back and inward. We ended up with two ends there. Yes, two threads, we pull on them. We tie them tightly, and it creates a kind of tightening. If you don't want to do the tightening, or if it's difficult for you, or if you don't like it, instead of tightening, you can just make a regular snout. Not tightening, right? And instead of tightening, just embroider with dark brown. For example, use a color to make stripes like nostrils. Or you can simply knit separate nostrils. For example, in a magic ring, knit 6 single crochet stitches. And you can just sew one and the other here. You can even make them knitted in dark brown, well, or like this. In general, there are many different options if you do not like the tightening. And if I'm already talking about tightening, then I will do the tightening. I simply have 2 indentations. And I painted them a bit with a brush, a paintbrush. I just took a cosmetic brush for eyebrows. For something I don't know, and I took powder. And I just colored in. Now, I will show you how I did it. I think you can paint nostrils. Here's how I did it. Not just powder, you can use any dry cosmetic. Yes, any color that you need. Well, or something else. But I usually just take cosmetics and color in. I draw these kinds of indentations on the nose. That's everything I said about the eyes and snout. This all needs to be done when we have connected about this many heads. Because later the head will begin to decrease, it will narrow, and it will be difficult for us to reach the face and insert the eyes. Once we have finished all this, we will start reducing the head and attaching the ears. We attach the ears on the 23rd row. Each ear like this. It turns out to be oval, or how to say, hollow inside. I simply folded it in half like this, and stitched it like this. Here we have 4 single crochet stitches. We will crochet the ear and the head together, just as we did with the hands. And on the 27th row, while shaping the head, we will incorporate this wide part of our white piece. We have not incorporated this yet. We will simply sew it on later. We will sew all of this on, and this wide part of the piece we will incorporate right away, just like the hands and ears, immediately in the 27th row. We will also position it this way to fit snugly against the face. Everything should lie flat on the head like this. The eyebrows can be embroidered later. Although in principle, we can sew the eyebrows and the white highlights here right away. Once we reach the 28th row here, we will change the yarn to the mixed one. We will start crocheting the elongated stitches. I have combined 2 dark brown threads, 1 beige and 1 milk. And I ended up with this mixed speckled thread. We will crochet the very top with it. We will use elongated stitches. I will not show how to crochet these elongated stitches right now. This is an express masterclass. I have a detailed lesson on how to crochet exactly these elongated stitches. There's a link above or a link below the video. So, go in and take a look. There, in principle, everything just ties together. Again, if you do not like elongated stitches, you can simply replace them. Well, do not combine all these threads of colors like I did. Just take some grass yarn. Just another thread, yes, in the form of grass, and just knit with it. And you will get the same effect. If you are knitting with elongated stitches, you do not even have to cut them. Like I did, they will just be that kind of stitches. And what happens is, well, it will turn out more curly. A little curly like that. That's it. After this we secure the yarn. And it turns out, we have finished the head. Again, I will now insert the text. How to knit the head, so that everything is clearer and more understandable for you. After we have knitted and closed the head, we hid the yarn. We need to sew on the horns. The horns we sew right snugly above the ears. After this, we will also need to sew on the spots. I sewed them on this way. Here, I left an empty space to hang a scarf. You can sew the spots on the back if you want. And we also need to sew this white part completely. Here, we knitted this wide part. And these sides just need to be sewn with the same creamy yarn. To the head snugly against the snout. I knitted a scarf, but if you do not want a scarf, and you have some bell of the right size, then you can knit a chain of air stitches of any color. A dark brown can work. And just hang the bell here. It is better to secure the chain here in the back. This is needed so that it does not slip. Just sew it here at the neck. Do not sew it at the front. You only need to catch it at the back with 1 stitch. And like this, so that the bell hangs. Or a scarf, like mine. The length of my scarf is 36 to 38 centimeters. This is including the tassels. Without them, it's about 33 centimeters. Oh, it is knitted with regular single crochet stitches. I chose any color that matches the nose. On one side, there are 3 tassels. One tassel consists of 2 threads. We fold these threads in half and attach each tassel with a hook. We tie them in a knot. I'm inserting the description of the scarf for you. Well, the scarf is ready. We tie it as we like. And that's it. Our little ball is ready. Thank you, friends, for knitting this ball together with me. I hope you all managed to do it. If you have any questions, please ask them in the comments. I will be happy to answer. And I wish you only the very best. Thank you for watching. We will meet in the next masterclass.